Damion, it's time for Whitworth men's basketball to start the 2022-23 season. It's an exciting time of year always around Whitworth when this comes up. But before we talk about the season, let's take a second to talk about last year and the way it ended in that NCAA tournament was not satisfactory for a Whitworth team historically. How did that kind of impact preparations for this season?
Well, first of all, and I don't want to make excuses, but we had some really bad luck. Our entire roster was sick going into that trip. We had 10 of 13 guys that had the flu, and so in some ways there are some legitimate excuses. We just did not perform well. It takes nothing away from our opponent. They played tremendously, but there is a certain amount of pass that you want to give the team because we just were not at full strength. We did not have it going into that weekend. So it is what it is. Regardless, I think the way that you kind of summarize that is our guys didn't feel satisfied with the way that it ended, regardless of how we were feeling physically. So I think our team, our guys have expressed, we want to get back there. We want to have a more competitive showing. We want to make a deep run. And so, coming off the COVID years, there was somewhat of a satisfaction getting back to being able to have the conference tournaments. Winning both championships was awesome. So that was very satisfying. But I think our team this year doesn't want to limit ourselves to just that. So we have very high expectations going in this year.
Do you think that is also a part of the reason why perhaps JT and Rowan decided to take advantage of their COVID year and come back and play one more season?
Yeah, I think so. I think that definitely plays into it. I mean, they both had, the opportunity given to them through the COVID year, and so we're already thinking about doing that and being able to go on and work towards master's degrees. So they're both doing that. But yeah, I think they have some unfinished business in their own mind. Obviously, we say that you can't, you have to take everything step by step. So obviously we have a whole season in front of us. We have to put together a good team and find our chemistry and win games and build towards being able to compete and win for championships and then look further. So you can't ever skip any steps, but obviously, our guys have high expectations.
It's going to be kind of an interesting look for fans as they come in and see us play. We have a whole core group of guys who are back from last year, but the majority of the roster is new and fresh faces. So that mixture, how did you bring that mixture together over the course of the training camp and the fall to cohese into an active and healthy roster?
Sure. Obviously, I think to some degree we're still doing that, but yeah, what we had in this preseason was a very inexperienced part of our squad and then a very experienced part of our squad. So, and there was pretty much 50-50. And I think our upperclassmen took it on themselves. They've had really great leadership throughout this fall, really great leadership. So I feel like they took it upon themselves to try and bring the young guys up to speed as fast as they could and show them a lot of grace and a lot of teaching. And then at the same time, I think what you get is you get a whole lot of energy and enthusiasm from this young squad. I mean, we just had a 6 a.m. practice this morning, and you could see it. You get a chipper bunch that is kind of pulling along, the older crew as you get going. So it's been a fun mix, honestly, and I think both parties play off each other and add to each other in their own certain way.
We're going to open the season this weekend on the road in Alliance, Ohio, a tournament hosted by Mount Union, who, by all accounts, is a very, very strong team. The opponent for Saturday, we don't know yet, based on how Friday's results turn out. But just talk about the challenges ahead of this team this weekend.
Yeah, this is an extremely competitive preseason tournament. All four teams involved have been really good in historically, but definitely the last few years. Mount Union, I believe, is ranked number 7 in the preseason poll. They have really, really talented roster. I think they have 5 guys that have been named to their first team all squad in the conference before. So really, really talented. And that poses a lot of challenges right out of the gate. You're going to be throwing the guys to the fire, and they're going to have to learn really quickly and be competing at a super high level. And then the next night, whether it's Roanoke or Maryville, both of those teams are really good and present different challenges. And then again, you have like a really quick turnaround. You're going to have basically, if it's going to feel like less than an NCAA turnaround, because none of these teams have film. Everything we're going off of last year. So there's a lot of unknowns about that, and in a lot of ways, that second game, whether it's win or loss, you're gonna just have to rely on you doing you to the best level at this early in the season. So yeah, definitely a lot of challenges because you don't know exactly what you're going to get, but I do know that they're going to be really competitive opponents.